Today I'm going to talk today, tomorrow, whatever day this goes up. It's the irony that it's Your Morning Jesus filmed at night. It's like Your Night Jesus. Kind of sounds like I'm saying it's your night Jesus as if he's at a party having the best time of his life. And it's like, your night, man, it's your night. A really big problem that I've seen in the church, more so than anything, that I would really like to make a point of. Is the biggest problem is that we want to appear perfect rather than actually address our wounds and show the world who we are. Like, we have these perfect social media accounts and these perfect wee plastic lives, and we forget that the world's not looking for a perfect life. They're looking for a way to overcome the problems in their life. And that's where we get this weird idea that if we show a point of weakness, Jesus is gonna go out of business. Jesus is gonna be out of business. Whoa, no! Jesus ain't gonna have any business. I'm gonna appear like everything's fine. Everything's okay. I'm not bleeding. I'm not sad. I'm not depressed. Which is the irony in that is, if we really believe Jesus came to save us from our own brokenness and sinfulness and all this blah 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 blah, which essentially says we're too broken to heal ourselves, why do we preach self-help? Why do we preach all these self-help things followed by these ideas that we have perfect lives? The biggest problem that we find though is that we think that's an effective way of dealing with things. We think that's appealing to people, where it's like, oh, look at how perfect my life is. Wouldn't you want to have a perfect life? And they're like, I really want to be able to overcome my depression. Well, I can't have a perfect life in church. You know, we'll love on you. We'll love on you. Which, just as a side note, distraction, detour. Stop saying that. Can we all stop saying love on? Because it's just, the whole thing about loving on someone, I'm loving on someone, is one just really kind of messed up. Do you know what I mean? Like, hey Jeremy, what did you do last week? Oh bro, I totally loved on John last night. You what? I loved on him all night, you know what I mean? Like, we're just speaking words of prophecy and, you know, laying hands on him and like speaking in tongues. You're like, you're laying hands on him and loved on him all night? And is that okay? You realize he's like 15? Yeah bro, gotta minister to the youth, am I right? High five. What just bugs me about that is that it becomes more about our reputation, more about us, than it ever becomes about God. It becomes more about us being well known, respected, and having a name and having a great preaching career, whatever that means, than actually seeing God glorified. Now, I don't know what walk of life you come from, and this is obviously more aimed at Christians versus not Christians. How to put it? Why do you insist on living a life that is about you? And insist on living a life that appears perfect when Jesus literally contradicts a perfect life because he had to die for you. See, the whole theology behind even having a perfect life or appearing to have a perfect life blows me away, because it contradicts exactly why Jesus came down. If you're so perfect, why do you need Jesus? And we've turned church into a social club. We've turned it into more of a hierarchy of, you know, climbing up the ranks. You know, I start as a people server, and then maybe they'll let me pan some notices out, and then maybe I'll be able to give a notice on stage. Oh, that will be exciting, won't it? Woo! And then one day I'll be like a leader at youth group, and then I'll be a leader on the young adults team, and then I maybe play in the worship band for a bit, and then I'm a pastor. Yay! Did I forget about the hellish internship? Probably, I don't care. And we keep being faced with this issue that we should have to appear perfect. That's what blows me away even more, is that we live in a world where church, which should be a place for broken people to come and I'm not talking about church just on a Sunday. Can we just address that? I'm talking about church like you people, as in we are the church, as in it's not just a Sunday festival, it's an actual body of people connected like a nation under the rule of God, being in this deep relationship with Him, having the best time of our life and showing His goodness, because why not? Well, it's why do people come to us and we cast them judgment, and not just sort of judgment, but isolation and ostracize them? That doesn't make any sense. They're supposed to come to us with their brokenness, with their ashes, and we're supposed to point to a king and a God that's like, wow, He's so good, let me share my goodness with Him. But they come to us and they're like, oh, I've got a porn addiction. You're like, oh, pervert. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you had sexual relations out of a legal marriage? That's disgusting. What, you drink and you swear? Oh my gosh, that's unthinkable, unacceptable. Which the irony is that at some point in time, you were not acceptable. Do you know what I mean? Under your own standards that you preach and you share with each other, you were unacceptable. That alone should speak volumes of who you are. That you hold people to a standard that you once did not live under. Here's the difference. Let's draw the line. Let's draw the line section here. If you stop drinking and you you bet people, and then you stopped drinking and now don't beat people, and then you stop someone beating up someone because they were drunk, whole different story. You know, if you were this once violent person or did something wrong and now you are actively trying to stop that, that's fine. But it's the casting of the judgment that doesn't make any sense to me. It's the casting of making someone not feel good enough because they don't match your standard of judgment. Instead of, say, helping them or expressing gratitude or inviting them into prayer or saying, how can I help you? How can I show you the goodness of God? How do you feel loved? Because we're such this self-dependent, self-help version of the church now that we've completely excluded Jesus. You could go to church today and just replace the word Jesus with Bon Jovi or David Bowie, and it would just run the exact same. We had 600 people at church tonight. Woo! I sit there and go, what does it matter about the number? Did those people all come to know God? Because then I'm all like, yes, 600 people came to know my Father. That's awesome. But why we insist on increasing this lie that we live perfect lives via Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, sharing all these quotes on Facebook, posting pictures of angels and whatever you're doing. And now, again, I'm not criticizing the ones who are already out there doing an amazing job. But what I'm saying is, let's confront the lie that we live perfect lives and that we're perfect, and stop preaching that. Let's just stop preaching that altogether. Let's stop talking about it. Let's stop even thinking about it like that. And let's start actually showing the world that He's good, and that in our brokenness, He's good, and in our inability, He's amazing and strong. And in our weakness and our foolishness, He's wise and powerful. Versus trying to show how good our lives are and how, oh, look at how incredible I am as a person. Well, it's not about you. And I know that's the truth you guys don't want to hear. That's the truth that often a lot of us don't want to hear. Because we live such self-centered lives about where we want to travel and what we want to wear and what we want to eat and all these things, and it just becomes so much more about you than it ever is about God. And so what I extend out to you in this very serious, very confronting message, how much of your life would change if Jesus was removed? How much if you just took Him straight out? No more Jesus. How much would you still be the same person? And if you can take Jesus out and you're the exact same person, that should speak absolute volumes of how much you need to change. Just before I finish, and I wave my pen at you, if you are in a church, if you're in a group, if you're in a family, and no one's given you permission to be depressed or sad or not be perfect, whatever it is, I give you permission to work through that. As in, I say, you're allowed to not be okay. You're allowed to not have everything together. You're allowed to not have the perfect life. You're allowed to be confused. You're allowed to be conflicted. You're allowed to not have it all together. There's a motto in my family: never apologize for how you feel. If you feel angry, then let's talk about it. Alright, well, so that's my video. I forgot to kind of do an outro, and now my face is just on fire with too many light sources fixed. Thanks for watching. I don't know, share it with people who you think need to hear this message about how not being perfect is alright, especially within the body of Christ. Share that around, whatever that looks like. And ultimately, before I finish this, and I'm recording this after, so I'm sorry if the audio suddenly goes terrible. Let people know that they can have a problem. Let people know that they can raise a problem in discussion. Ultimately, pray for these people and love these people and connect with these people. Because there's a lot of people out there, should I say people again? Because I'm going to say it again. People. Is you need to, you know, if you are aware of this problem, if you're aware that in the church it's about, I'm going to turn the light source back on. If you're aware that people are not okay, then you're part of the solution. You're part of what needs to change in the world. And so go out and tell people that they're loved, and go out and tell them that they're amazing, and go out there and be the light that we need to see right now. Because people are stuck in the darkness with no light to see, confused as, and sitting here going, is it okay for me to feel sad? Is it okay for me to feel angry? Am I okay to disagree with my pastor? And of course, all of those things are yes, you're allowed to feel things. So take this message of freedom, because that's what we should be in God, free, and share that goodness with others, because you're part of the solution. And tell them that they're part of the solution, because we should be organic.